Have you ever found yourself just standing in a grocery store, looking at all of the options, and feeling totally and completely overwhelmed? It's weird, right? We've got more information, more science, more nutrition labels than ever before in history, but somehow, making a simple, healthy food choice feels harder than ever. So what is going on? Why is it so tough?
The first place our minds usually go is to blame ourselves. We think, ugh, if only I had more willpower, or I just need to be more disciplined. But what if that's not the real story? What if the whole game is actually rigged? Well, that's where we're going to dig into.
All right, to really understand this modern food trap, we have to start small. I'm talking microscopic. We need to look inside our own heads, because the real battle for what you eat doesn't start on your plate or in the kitchen. It starts right here, in the brain. Okay, so there's this really important concept called cognitive inhibition. Now that sounds super technical, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Think of it as your brain's mental brake pedal. It's that little voice, that system, that sees a delicious-looking donut and gives you the power to say, you know what, not today. It's what stops an impulse dead in its tracks.
And this, right here, is where things get really fascinating. Using neuroimaging, those scans that let us literally watch the brain work, scientists have found something incredible. For a lot of folks who struggle with obesity, that key part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the command center for the brake system, it's often less active when they're faced with a temptation. It's like the brake pedal is a little bit worn down, making it that much harder to stop.
And if you're still not convinced this is a biology thing, just look at this comparison. It is absolutely mind-blowing. When scientists put the brain scans of people with drug addiction side by side with those struggling with highly palatable foods, the similarities are just uncanny. We're talking about the same impaired brain regions, the same messed up dopamine reward systems, the same compulsive behaviors. This isn't about being weak. It's about our fundamental brain chemistry getting hijacked.
Okay, so we've established that our brains have this built-in vulnerability, but that's really only one piece of the puzzle. Now, let's zoom out. Let's look at the world we actually live in, an environment that has almost perfectly been designed to pull every single one of those biological triggers.
I mean, just look at this. This one graph says so much. A typical plate of pasta you get at a restaurant today is a whopping 480% larger than what the USDA officially recommends as a serving size. 480%. Over the past few decades, what we think of as a normal amount of food has just been completely blown out of proportion.
And here is the craziest part. We are not even aware it's happening. There was this amazing study where researchers kept serving people bigger and bigger bowls of mac and cheese. And get this, less than half of the people even noticed that the portions were getting bigger. They just kept eating, consuming about 30% more calories without feeling any more full. It proves our stomachs don't really have a say. We eat with our eyes.
So why does that happen? Well, our brains are all about being efficient. They're trying to save energy. So to do that, they put a ton of our daily decisions, especially routine ones, on autopilot. Think about it. Your conscious brain just can't handle the millions of bits of information coming at you every second. So what happens? Most of our eating decisions become automatic reflexes, guided by cues in our environment, not by actual, real hunger.
And these cues, these triggers, are literally everywhere. If the serving bowl is on the dinner table, we eat 29% more. If we pour cooking oil from a bigger bottle, we use 23% more. Slap a low-fat label on something, we'll eat a third more calories from it. We even copy how fast our friends are eating without a single thought. These aren't conscious choices we're making. They're automatic responses to a world designed to make us eat.
Okay, so we've got a vulnerable brain and we've put it in an environment that's just packed with triggers. But you have to ask yourself, how did this environment get here? Did it just pop into existence? No. So let's zoom out one final time and look at the actual architect who engineered the world we eat in.
This, right here, might be the single most important thing to understand. The endless ocean of cheap, super tasty, ultra-processed food that we're all swimming in every single day, it is not an accident. It was engineered. It was designed, marketed, and subsidized until it became our reality.
Big food companies, they love to talk about transparency and helping you make informed choices. But let's just look at what they say versus what they actually do. They'll say they care about your health while reassuring you about sweeteners that the World Health Organization itself has called possibly carcinogenic. They talk about a consumer-first mindset while funding secret front groups to fight against stronger food safety laws. It's a classic playbook. Watch their actions, not their ads.
And it's not just corporations. Government policy has played a massive role, especially when it comes to your wallet. Just check out these price changes over the last 30 years. The price of fresh fruits and vegetables, it's skyrocketed. Meanwhile, the price of sugars, sweets, and sodas has actually gone down. Our own policies have made the unhealthy choice the cheap and easy choice.
And the result of all of this? Well, it's pretty predictable, isn't it? Study after study confirms it. The more processed food people eat, the more total calories they consume. The system isn't broken. It's actually working exactly as it was designed to.
So yeah, this can all feel a little depressing. I get it. A vulnerable brain, a triggering environment, and a massive system pushing in the wrong direction. But here's the thing. Actually understanding the problem is the very first step toward fixing it. We can stop blaming ourselves and start focusing on re-engineering the system itself.
And the great news is, we already have proven tools that work. When Philadelphia put a tax on sugary drinks, sales dropped by 51%. 51%! We could use huge programs like SNAP to give grocery stores real incentives to promote healthy food. We can and should restrict junk food ads aimed at kids. And we can create simple, clear front-of-package labels so we're not tricked by confusing health claims anymore.
So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this new way of thinking, a new framework. First, the brain. Let's acknowledge our biology instead of beating ourselves up. Second, the environment. Let's start to see all the hidden triggers around us that are designed to exploit that biology. And third, the system. Let's focus our energy on changing the policies that created this unhealthy environment to begin with.
And that really brings us to the final big question, and it's the one that really matters. Instead of living in a world that's been engineered to make us overeat for profit, what if we decided to build a food environment that was actually designed from the ground up for human health and well-being? Just think about that for a second. What would that world even look like?